Hello and welcome to the Foxcatcher AFL show. My name's Julian Vallance, joined as always by Bernie Vince. Bernie, we're going to get into round 17 action. It's Marvel Stadium Thursday night. North Melbourne off the 5-day break. We know that's not great trend this year. Versus the Bulldogs, who were off a 5-day break last week, got it done, but just bang on the market expectation. Interesting here, these two teams love to possess the footy.
They do. The Bulldogs, I should say, number 2 in the competition for disposals, and North Melbourne, a shorter sample size, but the last 5 rounds, they're top 5 in disposals as well. So they're flicking it around a lot more. Been in a lot better form, minus last week. Got the belting down in Tassie, but they flick it around a lot. So for SGMs, plenty of options, both teams.
Have you got one specifically for us? Because I think they're going to, as you say, flick it around.
Yeah, the Bont, 25 plus in 4 of his last 5 v North Melbourne. So I had a bit of a look there. He's averaging 28 as well against North. $1.87 you can get for 25 plus, and I reckon he is just warming up as the season moves on, so in real good form.
That seems a pretty good price, and maybe the modelling's factoring that they maybe think he's going to roll a little bit more forward possibly, which he's done in the last couple of weeks, but if he goes back through the midfield, he's going to gobble up those numbers, you would think, pretty safely. Let's get to these two numbers at Marvel Stadium and their overall thing in terms of the total point line, because we're at 180.5, which seems quite high, but these two teams do play this ground probably better than any other ground and any other team in the comp. Yeah,
it's a real tough one, this. 180. I would have liked to come in at 170, and then it's an obvious choice to go overs. I think they've got the market spot on.
Yeah.
So I might even just stay out of the totals for this one, because you never know what sort of North Melbourne are going to turn up after a 5-day break. Are they going to turn up like they did last week, or, you know, the month previous? They were pretty good. Just too many unknowns for me, so I'm staying out of that one.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm exactly with you. That total point line's a bit weird. That 41.5 for Bulldogs minus, I think I'll probably want to be with that. I think they'll probably belt them, especially with the Kangas off the 5-day break. Friday night footy, MCG. Probably if you spoke about this at the start of the year, you go, how much of a belter is this going to be? Well, it's going to fall off the end of the cliff, really. Carlton versus Collingwood. This is a tale of two different teams this year. In terms of market expectation of what the market thinks these teams are going to perform at, in terms of are they going to win or are they going to get beaten by a certain amount of points that's factored into the markets, have a look at this. Carlton have missed it 10 times, and conversely, the Pies, they've exceeded it 10 times, and that's what we're dealing with, and that's why we see them different on the ladder.
They're the ultimate team, aren't they, in 2025, Collingwood? They're just doing things that other teams can't, and 10 times, that's just the total opposite. I did the Carlton game Thursday night against Port Adelaide, and real concerns with their attitude towards the way they went about. I was expecting a big response and bodies getting hit. There was just nothing. Real concerns there at Carlton, and I just feel like being a night game, maybe lean towards the unders being at the MCG, but geez, there was not much to write home about Thursday night, Carlton.
This is an interesting one. You can see the numbers here. So the total point line goes up 160.5, which seems low. And again, I reckon just bang on. You look at the numbers and you can see, OK, Carlton average 79. We know the Pies very strong defensively, but also can score at 93. The other thing is the MCG night, which you mentioned, it averages around 157. So there's no real big edge with that 160.5. But I just think the numbers suggest, especially recent games as well, I just want to be with the unders. I know there's not much rain about Friday night in Melbourne. I want to be with the unders with these two teams. So that's what we're going to go with us at Foxcatcher. Third game we're going to look at here, Bernie, is Essendon versus the Gold Coast Suns at Marvel Stadium. Bombers off the bye. I want to talk about the bye and what it's been throughout the year. So there's been 20 occasions where teams have been off the bye and obviously haven't had to play another team off the bye. They sit at 12 wins and 8 losses. So there's not much between it. But here's the interesting thing. Of those 20 times, the teams off the bye have actually hit market expectation 15 times. So they've lost, but they've got a lot closer than what they probably should have. I think it's a positive for the Bombers, but does that help them against the Suns?
No, I don't think so. I think the Suns, well, the Suns have let us down a couple of times at Marvel, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
You know, they lost to Richmond there as well early in the year. I think they're a better team now. I think they're more consistent. In saying that, they have lost a few that they should have won, but I think Gold Coast, I think they take care of Essendon. Too many new players at Essendon.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. They've used the most players in the comp, and that's by 3. So they've actually used 40 players this year. Conversely, Suns are the third equal healthiest. They've used 32. We know the Bombers actually flick it around a lot. They're a high disposal team. Different with the Suns, they're not. So maybe you're playing that space with the SGM. If you're having a bet, please make sure it's a sharp one. Bernie's been having plenty of sharp ones. I'll try and follow. See you soon.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.